Uh, so doing something differently. I'm streaming right now from my cell phone because my I left my laptop at work, so got to do it from the cell phone. But anyways, gonna be talking about. I guess you can say this is the post game reaction from LSU versus South Carolina. Now, I did go to that game. I had pretty good seats, like on the 50-yard line. I was able to see Nick Saban, Kirk Herbstreit, a bunch of those guys before the game. I want to say kudos to the South Carolina fans. The South Carolina fans was it was really nice to me, um, and the fellow LSU fans. LSU did not travel very well at all. There was very little LSU fans at that game, so I don't know if LSU fans are just kind of disappointed in the team. But I thought there was going to be way more LSU fans at that game, but it wasn't. But yeah, it was really good atmosphere, really loud, very hostile environment, and so kudos to the fans of South Carolina and William Brice Stadium. All right, so jumping into LSU, from what I saw on offense for the first couple of drives, even the first couple of quarters until after halftime, it seems like starting off with Garrett Nussmeier first. Garrett Nussmeier looked very indecisive. He didn't look very comfortable. LSU didn't run a lot of routes to me past the sticks. Right, they ran a lot of routes underneath the sticks in that first quarter, in that first half. They was really almost like hyper focused on throwing it to the running backs. I kept saying, man, throw the ball deep to, Kyron Lacey or someone like that, right? But it didn't seem like that was the game plan. And so, that first half, the offense just seemed out of sync. It seemed like somewhat of a high school offense, not very complicated at all. And the offensive line, I seen somewhere where they college football PFF said that Emory Jones had a pretty phenomenal game, that he gave up zero pressures. That's a lie. I was at the game. I seen with my own two eyes. South Carolina's defensive ends was giving Emory Jones and Will Campbell all it can handle, and Garrett Nussmeier did not have a clean pocket the whole game. So for them to say that there was zero pressures, that's a bit of an understatement. But for the most part, going into what South Carolina had been doing on that defensive line coming up to the LSU game, I did think that the offensive line held up pretty well. I thought we was able to run the game more effectively this game versus South Carolina than we was able to do in the past, because we seen the freshman Cade Durham, number 29, and we saw Josh Williams getting it rolling. So LSU did run the ball more. I think more effectively versus South Carolina than it has done in the last two games. But that offense just looked in the first half, the offense just looked real stagnant. Nussmeier looked uncomfortable. He didn't look very decisive. And South Carolina took advantage of that. I was very shocked that South Carolina was able to jump out on LSU 17-0. I was shocked. I was surrounded by South Carolina fans, and I was shocked. I stood up the whole game. I was clapping, but I was the only LSU fan in the section that I was in. I thought I brought my tickets in the home. I thought I brought my tickets on the away side, but apparently I picked the home side. So I was surrounded by South Carolina fans. But my jaw dropped when South Carolina went up 17-0. And the guy next to me, who was a South Carolina fan, he said, "You think y'all gonna lose?" And I said, "No, I don't think we're gonna lose. I think LSU was down like that last year versus Wisconsin in the bowl game." And so I was confident that I'm confident in Nussmeier. Like I tell everyone, I'm 1,000% on the Nuss buzz. Nussmeier is my guy, right? I'm confident in Nussmeier. Was I frustrated at Nussmeier? Yeah, I'm like, because I know Nussmeier has the talent to make every throw on the field. Now, whether or not it's the offensive coordinator that's calling in the plays, that's telling him what to do. Obviously, there's a play calling aspect, but I know Nussmeier can make every play on every throw on the field. And we have really talented wide receivers, man. Aaron Anderson is playing out of his mind. CJ Daniels turned it on versus South Carolina. Kyron Lacy is Kyron Lacy. Mason Taylor is Mason Taylor, right? We have talented wide receivers and tight ends. So I was just really disappointed that we was not able to take advantage of South Carolina. You know, outside of South Carolina's defensive line, they're pretty bad in the secondary, right? They're pretty bad in the secondary. You was able to see in the second half after halftime, LSU was able to do kind of what they wanted in the passing game to South Carolina to a certain extent, right? So going into halftime, right? I remember I was at the concession stand and I told the South Carolina fan, I said, "Hey, man, y'all should be very worried that LSU made all of those mistakes, came out sluggish, and y'all are not blowing us out, right?" And he was just like, "Oh, no, 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 we're gonna blow y'all out. We're gonna blow y'all out." And I also said, "Hey, you guys' quarterback is hurt, right?" So after halftime, man, I can't remember the kid's name, the running back. Um, but shout out to that dude, man. He got his ankle stepped on, and he tried to come out and he tried to gut it out after halftime, but he just couldn't put any weight on his ankle, so he had to go out of the game. The backup came in, and I think that first drive that LSU had after halftime, um, I kept saying we was not able to score, right? So we didn't score in the end zone. We didn't kick the field goal. We went for it on fourth down, and we didn't get it. And I said to myself, I say, man, that us not getting any punts there is going to come back to bite us in our butt. And then South Carolina got right back on the field, gave it to the running back. Running back took off down the sideline, scored. From what I saw from that advantage, Weeks, man, shout out to Weeks, man. Weeks is a good dude, but Weeks was getting cooked, man. He was getting cooked. The defense just looks slow. This LSU defense looks like, to me, and I was at the game. I've been to a lot of LSU games. I think in my life I've been to 12 LSU games. Obviously, people have been to more, but I've been to 12. At least it's 10 or 11, somewhere around now. No more, no less than 10 games I've been to. And this is the slowest LSU defense I've seen ever, right? Like you guys can go back and look at it. There was a highlight, I think number 10, the safety, Spears. Man, the dude was running. He was pumping his fist so hard. And when you see a guy pumping his fist like this, right? We always say like that they pretty slow. Like they was taking bad angles. Geraldine Gilbert, terrible angles. I don't know, man. They broke all of their long runs to uh the it would have been their left side, right? So they broke a lot of big runs to the left side of the ball, and that was weak side, man. They was cooking West Weeks, man. They was still blocking him. They was getting him out of there. A couple of times I seen him run inside when he should have ran to the outside, because if you're the outside linebacker, you gotta squeeze that play inside. You gotta keep that play inside. But he was running inside, and that running back was able to bounce it out and take it for a long gain, if not a score. And I was texting my stepbrother, and I was just like, man, uh, Weeks getting cooked, man. And I like him, man. He was getting cooked though. We definitely miss um Jacorian Guillory, man. We miss him in the middle. We definitely miss him. We're going to have to figure it out at the defensive tackle spot. We already are very thin at the defensive tackle spot, and I think we missed him pretty bad in the middle of that game. To me, I think we missed him a whole lot. Um, Harold Perkins, he played the star position. He flashed a little bit, but I didn't really think he made much of a impact individually, right? He made some really good tackles. He was flying around, but I mean, this was only his first week practicing and playing the star position, so we got to see what he does moving forward. Um, Cornerbacks, we saw that South Carolina was able to, get some big pass plays on our cornerbacks. So that's still, a work in progress. I think we should just play PJ Woodland a whole lot more. But I did see Zay Alexandra was out there, so that's good to see that he's coming back off of he's back off of injury. But I think we should play PJ Woodland a little bit more. Um, obviously in the fourth quarter, LSU. Well, the third quarter, right? So let's go back to the third quarter. Third quarter, if y'all look at the box score, South Carolina did not score in the third quarter, right? They South Carolina went, South Carolina did not. They didn't. I don't think they scored in. They didn't score. Did they score in? I don't think they scored in the third quarter. I'm pretty sure they didn't score in the third quarter. But they, we should have. They South Carolina was defeated after halftime. We should have been able to pull away from South Carolina after halftime, especially when we went right down the field and was able to. Well, we came out of that first drive out of halftime with no punch, but we South Carolina was doing everything to give us that game. Right now, hey, this might make a lot of LSU fans mad, but I definitely think the referees should be investigated because it was some penalties. I'm like, man, where are these penalties coming from? You know, but I was like, some of those penalties was kind of bogus. I would hate to see that from. I knew we had issues when the quarterback went down the back. Yeah, so it was like again, I was sitting around all South Carolina fans, Derek, and yeah, that's my boy Derek. What up, Derek? And a lot of the South Carolina fans said the same thing. It's like, man, our backup quarterback is terrible. But I think that he did enough because you saw he was able to make some decent throws down the field, especially that one when we thought we had the sack and he ran and he threw it into the end zone. And I think that was the 2-point conversion. I think, oh, that was a touchdown. I don't remember, but that was a dynamic play. And I was just like, man, anytime a quarterback and anytime a black quarterback is wearing one leg sleeve, I say, yeah, that boy can run. But I thought he did enough to keep South Carolina in the game. Again, LSU defense was playing real sluggish. Um, and we just kept on. It's like, man, we'll go back and forth. We'll score, they'll score. I'm just like, man, I was on the edge of my seat. Now, if y'all go back and look at my previous video when I did my preview for this game, I said LSU was going to win this game 31-17. South Carolina jumped out on us 17-0. And, we was able to rally back. But after halftime and after the starting quarterback went down, I forgot this kid's name. South Carolina pretty much was ready to roll over. They was done, but LSU was able to allow them to continue to make big plays, and South Carolina they stayed in the game. Fourth quarter was fourth quarter I was really confident that we can maybe pull away from South Carolina. Oh, the 2-point conversion try got called back. I wish they didn't go so conservative. Oh, was there a penalty on that one when he ran around and threw it? I don't remember that was a penalty or not. I got terrible memory, man. I'm sorry, y'all, but I wrote down some notes, but I don't know what I did to the piece of paper that I had in my pocket to write down notes. But yeah, so in the fourth quarter, I was like, all right, Nussmeier made, I think Nussmeier made some fantastic throws that whole game. The one to Kyron Lacey, the one that he made on the sideline to Aaron Anderson. Hey, dog, Nussmeier is that. Nussmeier is that boy, man. I know a lot of, you don't hear a lot of people talking about Nussmeier, and that's fine. But Nussmeier, when Nussmeier is in his zone, when he's comfortable, when he's not thinking too much, Nussmeier will throw your MFing lights out, right? That kid can make every throw. But in the fourth quarter, I said LSU should be able to pull away. They was getting Kyron Lacey involved. Cabe Durham was doing his thing right. That's a freshman. Every time Cabe Durham was breaking tackles, I was just like, I kept yelling, "That's a freshman. That's a freshman." And one of the people on side of me was like, "That can't be a freshman. He got all these tattoos." I was just like, man, that kid was playing high school football a few months ago. About a year ago. I was like, that kid is a freshman. That kid is a true freshman. And that's how LSU is going to have to move forward if they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to have to do a running back by committee. It's going to have to be a stable of running backs, and they're going to just have to go with whoever the hot hand is. And we saw that, later in the game where they just kept feeding to Cabe Durham. I was like, man, leave Cabe Durham on the field. Leave him on the field. And, deep into the fourth quarter, again, LSU, was up, and it just seems like they wanted, your quarterback did well when he needed to, and the running back is, yep. Cabe Durham is definitely a running back. is a SEC running back, real hard nosed, physical dude, got speed, a good combination of speed, balance, can see the hole real well. And hey, K Doom is going to be a good one. Um, but yeah, so LSU was able to, I said, man, look, come on now, and then South Carolina drove down the field. Now, when South Carolina was setting up for the field goal for us to go to overtime, I did not like the idea of Brian Kelly freezing the kicker because this is why I don't like it. When you freeze the kicker, they still kick the kick. So they still kick the ball. So they able to see the ball go in. So to me, I'm like, okay, that builds his confidence because he was able to see the ball. He got a free kick. Even though it didn't count, he was able to kick the ball and he was able to see the ball go in. And I was like, if he would have missed it, he still would know, okay, I gotta adjust it like this because I did it this way, but it didn't go in. Now I need to adjust it this way. So when he went to kick it again and he missed it, I'm just like, I was shocked. I was just like, what the hell? But he just made it and he missed it this time. And I was shocked. But that was a good game, man. That was a good ass game. Again, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think South Carolina probably would have been able to pull it off if that quarterback didn't go down. I definitely think some of the calls on the referees, that was a blessing for LSU because, I think I read that was South Carolina's most penalized game ever in the history of their program. But I think South Carolina is rising to the top. Like the quarterback is a redshirt freshman. They got some really nice players on defense, especially along that defensive line. They just got to get a couple of more guys in on that defensive side of the ball. They got to get a couple of more guys in on the offensive side of the ball. Some of the players said that the NIL collective sucks. I don't know how well that is. I don't know how true that is, but that was definitely a very hostile environment. I definitely want to go back and watch a game when it's not them versus LSU. Like again, I've been to 10 or 11 LSU games, and I've never been to a game. I've been to college games and NFL games, and I never heard a chant coming from the fans saying, "Ref, you suck. Ref, you suck." And the South Carolina fans, that's what they was chanting to the referees, telling them that they suck. But LSU pulled it off. What does that mean for LSU? These these close wins, they build character, but these close wins are very alarming because LSU is gonna lose a couple of these close games. I mean, we already lost a close game to South Carolina. The game was really close. We didn't finish. We didn't have that killing instinct like Brian Kelly talked about when he slapped the table like that, right? When he embarrassed us and he embarrassed himself and everybody else and he slapped the table. We still don't have that killing instinct because again, like I said, after halftime, LSU drove all the way down the field. We should have scored on South Carolina. We didn't. We didn't. And that's also play calling too. Killer instinct goes from the top down, right? Joe Salong is calling the plays, right? So we don't have killer instinct. The killer instinct got to come from him too. All right. He got to call better plays, right? We got some really good wide receivers, and we got to stretch the field more right off the bat. Just like I said, we came out the gate with a lot of short throws, and we got to do better than that. We got to have some more. We got to have a more creative offense. We got the weapons on offense to, to be a really good offense. I think a top 20, top 15 offense in the country. It's still early. We're only going into the third game of the season. But like I said, these close games, LSU gotta figure out these close games, gotta figure out these slow starts, because our quarterback is young, so we should have a bright future. LSU should be fine. They have to tighten. Yeah, we gotta tighten up on defense. Listen, I think Blake Baker has the defense going in the right direction. I really do. I believe in Blake Baker. I believe in Bo Davis. I believe in everyone, right? Kevin Peoples. I believe in Corey Raymond. I think we're going in the right direction. We just got to get a couple of more pieces in. Listen, I appreciate everything that Sage Ryan did for us. I appreciate everything that Major Burns have done for us. But and those other guys, those other older guys, but it's just they're just not. they ain't got it. They ain't got the juice. I just think we just got to start playing the young guys where we can. We got to play the young guys in some of these. I don't want to say easier games, but because South Carolina was not an easy game at all. I'm not calling South Carolina easy, but I'm saying like in some of these lesser games, right? Like, we should have played guys a lot in that Nichols game, which I think we did, and we just got to start giving these younger guys more reps because UCLA comes to town. No, do LSU go there, or do they come to us? I think they come to Baton Rouge. I gotta look, but uh, then we got Ole Miss coming, right? We gotta play Ole Miss. We still gotta play Oklahoma. So we got to we got to figure out a way how to come out and start fast. And I think the defense is going to get better. The defense is going to get better. Tackling needs to get a little bit better. The cornerbacks definitely got to start locating the ball. It's just too much running down the field, not locating the ball, throwing their hands up and getting pass interference calls. Right, LSU right now is going to get pass interference calls. The DBs got to have confidence in their technique. They got to start looking back and locating the ball. But we got to figure it out, man. We got to figure it out on the defensive line. A defensive tackle. I think what was his name? Swingston. I think his name is. That kid had 3 sacks. Like he went off. Yeah. So we got to figure it out on the defensive tackle in the middle of that defense. We got to figure it out. That we got to figure it out right there because South Carolina was definitely trying to. They broke a couple of them up the middle. So we got to figure that out. Jacorian Gilbert being hurt definitely hurts. So we got to figure it out. But the competition is only going to get harder moving forward, right? As we get into the teat of the SEC play, right? But it feels good to be 1-0 in SEC play, right? LSU's playoff hopes are still alive, right? LSU's playoff hopes are still alive. We 1-0 in SEC play, right? And so it's good to be 2-1, and we get an opportunity to take on UCLA and improve on some of the things that we didn't do very well on versus USC. And again, kudos to USC. Very hostile environment. That defense is for real. They got a great off. They got a. I wouldn't say great offense yet because they still got a lot of potential, but they got a pretty good offense. They got a good environment, right? A nice stadium, nice fans, right? They hostile when they need to, but no one cursed me out. I had to walk back to my car. I parked about like a mile and a half away from the stadium, and I had USC fans offering to give me a ride to my car. I declined because they are strangers. But kudos to the USC fans. They showed me a great time, and I definitely got to get back to that stadium. But a win is a win. Feels good. Again, Brian Kelly gets another week to figure out what the hell's going on with his team. Hopefully next week versus UCLA, we can jump out to a fast start, keep the gas on them, keep the pressure on them, and win by a more comfortable margin. I want to see LSU win by a more comfortable margin versus I guess a more difficult team. Because LSU won by a comfortable margin versus Nichols, and then we went against South Carolina, an SEC opponent, and it was a very uncomfortable win. And I would like to see us have a somewhat of a more comfortable win versus UCLA. But I don't get paid $9.6 million a season like Brian Kelly do. So he got to figure it out. He definitely do. But yeah, that was just my recap of the game. I was able to go to that game. I was happy I was able to see an LSU game. I try to see one game at least once a year, especially since I don't live in Louisiana. But now that I'm moving back to Louisiana in a few months, I'll be able to catch more LSU games later on this year and then definitely next season. But let me know in the comment section below what y'all thought about the game. Do y'all think LSU should have won? Do y'all think LSU won fair and square? Do you think the referees helped? Do you think LSU got lucky? Let me know in the comment section below. If you're not even a fan of LSU or South Carolina, hell, if you're a fan of Oklahoma or Texas, and you just want to talk back and forth in the comments about Archie Manning starting and throwing for 5 touchdowns, it's all good, right? This channel is, this is a sports channel, but I talk mainly, I know, about LSU and college football, but I'm gonna try to start talking more about NFL football here soon. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. As always, if you are subscribed to the channel, thank you for helping the channel out, leaving a like, leaving a comment. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you can stay up to date on all of the latest drops from this channel. And until next time, I am out.